about running not-for-profit organizations. As social workers, you're most likely going to work for a not-for-profit at some point in your career. Things like drop-in centers, shelters, community organizations are often run under a not-for-profit structure. So my goal today is to give you just the basics of how to run a not-for-profit so that if you are responsible for that at some point in your career, you'll be able to have baseline understanding. You obviously get more in-depth training later on in your job. Or if you're working with other people who are responsible for that, you can understand where they're coming from, some of their stresses at work, and be able to work in a collaborative way with them. To give you a bit of my background, I worked for 1 year as the co-coordinator of the École Project, a not-for-profit based in Montreal, Quebec.
Could you pass this thing?
Sure.
Is it co-coordinator?
Co-coordinator.
So just one second. You can go ahead.
Which was in its very first year as a not-for-profit organization based on social and environmental justice. So I'll be speaking mostly about my perspective as a staff person, but I've also been on the board of directors of other organizations. So the first thing I'd like to tell you all about is the mandate of the organization. This is basically the why of the organization. What's the purpose? What's the point of having your organization? And the really important thing about your mandate is that it's the legal definition of what you're able to do within your organization. So when you get government recognition, which is also sometimes called incorporation as a not-for-profit, you have to put your mandate to the government and they will approve it. So for École, our mandate was,
Sorry, can you pass me?
so our mandate was, and I'm quoting here, to bring together McGill's students, faculty, and staff, and Montreal community members in the pursuit of sustainable living by means of applied student research, alternative education, and community building. École is an ongoing experiment that strives to be a model of urban sustainable living.
Could you pass me?
And, sorry, I just lost my place for a moment there. So for us, the mandate was really broad and filled with lots of fancy terms. It sounds very exciting. For you all as social workers, it's really important to know what's in your mandate so that you can work within it and around it. It might sound a bit limiting when you think of it as the only things you're legally able to do, but you are able to be really creative within that. So you should be able to look at your mandate and see where you can create a new exciting project. For instance, if you want to do an arts program, you would be able to include that in as perhaps a means of alternative education or community building. Look at how the phrasing in your mandate and how you'll be able to create creative programming. Next, your membership. Not everyone who uses your services will necessarily be a member. The way the incorporation documents and the government processes work is that you have to have a membership list. So let's say you are a social worker in a drop-in center. You may have 55 youth coming to your drop-in center every week. Those are all people who are actively involved, but unless they're on your membership list, they won't be able to be involved in making key decisions for your organization at the annual general meeting, which happens every year. It's where the board of directors is elected. So as social workers, be really attentive to how your organization gets members, how they are added to your membership list. It might be something really simple like signing a form, or putting your name down on the list, or paying $1 per year. Figure out what those are, try to make it something that's very easy for the people who are using your services to get involved in, or get on the membership list, so that they can be involved in those key decisions. The next piece that you all should know about is the board of directors. So these are the people who work behind the scenes to keep the not-for-profit running. Legally, they're the people who make decisions and are responsible for the running and functioning of a not-for-profit. There's anyone who's volunteered in a not-for-profit setting, who's been a staff member knows. Everyone is really involved. People who use the service are really involved. But these people often take care of legal matters, financial matters, a lot of those nitty-gritty things behind the scenes that not everyone wants to actually deal with. That's the traditional way that a not-for-profit is run, but you can also take a bit of a different approach and have a more collaborative board of directors. For instance, at Cole, we had staff from the Community Engagement Office, staff from Student Services, from the Faculty of the Environment. We had the leader of the Milton Park Residents Association, which is the neighborhood near
What was that?
Milton Park Residents Association, the neighborhood next to McGill. And also had lots of student leaders on our board. So we have people with a wide variety of expertise. They weren't necessarily lawyers or accountants, but they did bring a different kind of expertise because they knew the community. So for you all in not-for-profits that you'll work with, keep that in mind, see what you can do to recruit people who have maybe not technical expertise, but social expertise, because they'll bring a lot of benefit to your organization. Also, another thing to keep in mind with your board of directors is that many organizations have a really strong divide between their staff and board. Neither one understands the work that the other does. Board members are frustrated because staff don't understand why there isn't enough budgeting, enough funding for their programs. Staff are frustrated with the board. There's lots of miscommunications and misunderstandings that can happen, so get to know your board of directors, see how you can smooth that communication so hopefully your organization can run more effectively. And finally, I'm going to close on everyone's favorite topic, which is budgets. I know that these can seem very overwhelming, especially if you're looking at starting new programming as a social worker, but really get into the budget, try to understand where money is allocated, because often there looks like there's a lot of money, and there often really is. A lot of it might be going to overhead costs like the electricity and the building, rent, and or your mortgage if your organization owns the building. But there are a lot of ways to get creative with it. So, for example, with Ecole, we had over $100,000 budget per year, which was enormous.
How much was that?
$100,000 per year. And most of our programming only took $3,000 to $5,000 for year-long programming. So that's a lot you can do if you shift around costs. I also just want to put a word out there about grants. A lot of social workers are responsible for applying for grants for their programming. There are a lot of wonderful grants out there, a lot of great opportunities for funding, but also they're very limited. They often only will get you started on a project or a program, but they won't provide any long-term funding. And there can be a heap of ethical issues with grants as well. So for instance, at one point with Ecole, I was working on a grant application with TD Bank, which should seem great. TD Bank has plenty of money to go around, but they also fund pipelines across the US and Canada. So do we want, as an environmental organization, to be getting grants from a bank that also funds pipelines? Things to keep in mind for sure when you're looking for grants. Look into the organizations behind them. So that's just a basic overview. A few key points of mandate, budget, membership, and your board of directors, but I hope that this gives you a bit of a sense of what you might need to be involved in as a social worker in a not-for-profit setting, and that will help you to better understand the work of your colleagues and board of directors so that you can create the best work, the best organization to support their clients. Thanks so much.